intend on doing the mill siding just as a little how-to. Start off with the kit. This is one set. I happened to buy a few, and this is a completed one. Happens to have my HAAs in it. Each kit comprises the following parts. You've got the one perspex top with the covers on. You have the base, which can be split into two if you're attaching that to either end of another one to make it double length. All the centre points and doors and joiny bits, and the two walls. Each one of these kits will house half a length of full flexi track, so I will cut mine in the middle and move on. So I've got my half a length of flexi track, which is slightly longer than the board underneath it. And the next step is to now this is open to debate perhaps, but I tend to get a group of 4 sleepers, fit them in the gap, and then cut the next group of 4, the next group of 4, the next group of 4 as per the number of holes. So I need 6 groups of 4 at one end. As I fit them and slide the rest along, I push the larger remaining collection off the end, and every group of 4 gets pushed along. Some people suggest that you cut your group of 4, cut out the gap, leave a group of 4, cut out the gap, and then peel away the sleepers from the bottom of it. I've had great success, in fact, sliding it along because the chairs are quite reliable on the Pico Flexi track. So that's what I'm going to do this time. And if that doesn't work out, I'll let you know. I have got the other half, and I have got another box of it down there, so I'll have enough time to play around. But in my experience, sliding it all along is quite easy, and doesn't mean you have to pull away from the tracks and leads to less twisting of the rails individually. As predicted, I forgot something myself, and a craft knife is a lot easier than pliers to cut the sleepers apart. So again, because it also helps you get the edges off the ends there and there, you just trim them down and down there, and then push along. I've obviously tried to use pliers at the end here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups, and the rest. This part becomes dead easy because I turn it over and just slot the groups of 4 into the hole and slide along as I go. Halfway through, I have the first couple in, and as you can see, I'm just sliding along and then leaving the rest off the end. Nice, and we're done. Easy, nice and easy. What I tend to do now is put glue along the sides on the outsides, just to attach the rail to the wood, just to ensure that it's nice and solid, because there aren't as many sleepers as there were before. So in the unlikely event of odd or heavy loads, or you drop it, or maybe who knows, it just solidifies the track whilst not really getting in the way of the wheels of whatever's on it. Nice and tidy job. Now just to let that dry. And I've obviously wiped down the rails on the top just to make sure that if I do need electrical continuity later on, I can get that. But otherwise, as you can see, nice and straight, nice and flat. And yeah, that's this bit done. I'm now gonna leave that dry. Just a bit, just in case I knock it or twist it or something during the next part of the build. Of course, for you, this should be split second changeover. And a short while later, we have this. You can barely tell there's glue on there, but it is going to hold it into place. It's a little bit nicer. Now, the next step of building this is to put the walls on and the roof. If you were going to turn this into slightly scenic stuff, you might do your scenic things now. Obviously, if you're thinking of ballast, there's actually no gap between the top of the sleepers and the board, as you can see there. So ballasting won't make much sense, but it could come across quite nicely as hard standing, so concrete. If you repainted it, or if you were going to do just some grassy stuff on the outside or whatever, that might work well too. Mine are non-scenic, so I won't be doing that. But as you can see, they're relatively rigid. I don't know if you can see that actually, but they're relatively rigid. Bit of bowing there perhaps, or is that just the camera? A little bit of bowing there from where it was resting, but that's not a problem because again the sides will help sort that out. The track does help keep it quite rigid. Next is you take the middle bits out, sort of like this. You just cut them out, and I've dry fitted these for now. So you've got 4 in there. These last two do go on at the end, and they just kind of stick onto the front. Now you could glue these in and then the sides separately if you wanted to. I am just going to do them all together. I've done this before and they fit really well. The kit is really well designed and just kind of fits together dry anyway. So the gluing just solidifies there. So I'm going to glue them all at the same time, and because I'm using PVA or white glue, I've got plenty of time to get everything into place. And yeah, so it's dead easy. I'll do that now. Cool. So, as you can maybe see, if it will focus, I have now put glue on the inside, and on this side too, and I just did the sides at the same time. Now, I did this side first, with obviously the stanchions in, then put the glue between it, because it was nice and easy that way. And on this side, I pre-applied the glue to the base and the sides there, where all the sides would meet, which is why it's not quite as tidy. But it does the same job. And just to check, nice and straight, nice and level. All sorts of happiness. Okay. So now that that's drying, I've got little bits of glue on the outside that you'll probably want to be wary of. You want to move it on your desk if you're going to, you left it on a desk and are gluing it on a desk. You want to make sure it doesn't stick to the desk. So that's easy to check for. And then a light bit of pressure on the outside, on this side here with it lying flat, keeps the two sides compressed. And that's basically all there is to it. Once that is glued, there are 2 steps left. Sort out the end doors and put the roof on. I might be racing ahead slightly, but all I do is glue on the front of those tabs, the side it's going to face. So if I'm going to push it in this way, you put the glue on the back side of those tabs, and either on the inside there or on the front here. Just basically again where the two, on the inside there, where the pieces will contact each other. Yeah, you just glue them into place. But you push them on from the ends rather than having to slot them in first. Minor difference. I don't think it matters too much actually in the grand scheme of things. At this far end, I've obviously already done it. Yeah, so I've cut out the doors, tidied them a little bit. I'm just going to do a test fit now. And as you can see, it fits perfectly. Obviously I hadn't let the glue dry there. One reason to do this early before the glue dries is just to make sure that you haven't obstructed the path with glue. So as you can see, there's a bit of glue staining on there, because I've put a bit too much glue down the gap. That's just helpful to make sure you don't get too stuck later on. Because if you end up with big globs of glue in the gangways here, then you're just going to not be able to use the doors at all, and that's a shame. So yep, test fit. Make sure you wipe it off and make sure there's enough gap left over after you've glued it. So here we are, and everything is now dried and solid, and the doors still work. And the final thing is to take the cover off this if you want to, and it just rests on top between the doors. So nice and smooth fit, and we're done. Aside from drying time, this build took about 2 minutes. It really did. It's just the drying which is slow. You could theoretically use like a glue gun, as I have here, which may speed up the process a little bit, but PVA glue is really solid once dried, and it's possibly a bit cheaper than a glue gun anyway. Nice and easy, peasy leasy, and we now have space for these. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And no more. Just in case you're wondering how to get the perspex off, that's how you get the perspex off. Squeeze in the middle, pops out the end.